Great to be here with everybody today. I am Jordan Reed. I go by he, him, and I am the president and executive for CUAHSI. We've got an exciting new first ever virtual open house to work with you on today. Got a lot of things to introduce you to, including staff and others. Before we get started, I just want to remind everybody that we're operating under CUAHSI's Code of Conduct. So that's a policy that all of the registrants for this meeting signed off on, and applies to the staff also that are in this meeting. So as I mentioned before, this is the first ever open house for CUAHSI. This is a new vehicle that we're using to improve the dialogue that we have with the community as we're building new programs and evolving our services to meet and potentially anticipate and be ahead of certain community needs. So as part of that, we want to make sure there are lots of different ways where you can connect with us, get to know us better, provide feedback, hear about where things are going. We plan to do meetings of this type about twice a year in the future. So noting this is the first one, we're going to adapt with what we learn from today's meeting, evolve our future open houses, and then you'll hear from us a couple of times next year and the years after with similar opportunities to provide this type of feedback. This is not the only avenue that you have to interact with CUAHSI. There are lots of other ways, and we'll remind you of many of those. So there will be plenty of opportunities in the future to provide your feedback as well. But I wanted to share three goals that we have for this pilot open house. The first of those is to make stronger connections with CUAHSI staff. I know many of you that have a history with CUAHSI may know us based on a few individuals that maybe oversee key programs or offerings that you're super familiar with, but you may not know that there's 17 employees at CUAHSI that do a lot of things, some in the foreground and some behind the scenes to make sure that what we do continues to be meeting pressing needs for the community. So we're going to get some faces in front of you today, and you're going to have some opportunities to break out and connect with individuals that are here with CUAHSI. We also want to provide you with some updates with where things are going with CUAHSI programs. So provide updates on progress that has been made in the past, and also shed some light on future plans for the future. And also our processes to keep those things current with what the needs of the community are. And lastly, but really arguably most importantly, we want you to be able to share your ideas, your thoughts on where we are and where we're going, so that you can have an influence on the direction of this organization and the different programs and services that we provide. So many of you may be pretty familiar with CUAHSI. Others may be aware of the name, or maybe just on our mailing list, but otherwise may have not participated in some of our programs and services. So I'm dedicating just a single slide to catching you all up here, and we'll be happy to talk more in detail about any of these elements in the future. But key things to know: the CUAHSI acronym, it's a mouthful, but it stands for the Consortium of Universities for the Advancement of Hydrologic Science Incorporated. This has been a nonprofit since the year 2001, so we're almost on the 25th birthday for the organization, which is pretty exciting to be able to celebrate with you all next year. We have a mission to empower the water community and advance science through collaboration, infrastructure, and education. You'll see all of those things mentioned in the slides to come, and also as part of the different breakout sessions that we have on the docket for later. We have primarily federal grant funding, mostly from the National Science Foundation and from NOAA. This support helps us continue to provide the central bridging programs that connect across lots of universities and nonprofit groups to provide centralized access to the offerings that we'll cover and shed some light on more later today. We have a vision for supporting this thriving water community that we've created a metaphor here on the landscape that represents a collaborative environment. This is a thriving um, water science collaborative space where individuals are working together to advance water science and improve education outcomes. Um, this image represents the role of CUAHSI on the landscape, but also noting that those of you in the community are everywhere, kind of interspersed among infrastructure and learning opportunities and core systems like supporting the preservation of data in the long term. We have exciting news to share that NSF has made a commitment to supporting the future of realizing this vision. So the support we have through funded grants to be able to continue core operations and evolve our programs well into the future. So starting in January 2026 and going at least until December of 2028, we have this core commitment from NSF to be able to work on this particular vision. And when you look at this landscape, noting that there is a lot of community depicted in it, there's also pieces on it that are uniquely CUAHSI. So we see ourselves on this landscape as individuals that are integrated with you all working on science projects. We're supporting projects in different ways. And we also have a core set of infrastructure. So in the background there, the warehouse represents HydroShare, which is our canonical data repository and ecosystem that supports a lot of additional functionality outside of the basic preservation and access and discovery to water data primarily. We have a session coming up later, so at 3 o'clock Eastern. I'm going to be leading this, and then we've got a second time that the session is happening at 3:45, where we're going to take a deeper dive into the elements that CUAHSI has that are on this landscape and represent different programs and services that are in place now and or are evolving ones that will be released in the future as we make progress on those deliverables. So happy to invite all of you to participate and hear more about those in the future. I'm going to continue using this landscape to just put a spotlight on a set of core capabilities that the organization has. It's meant to be a high-level overview that kind of gives you a better sense of the scope of the organization and the different types of activities that we are connecting to. So the first of these is the continued operations and evolution of HydroShare, which is the core data system that is also the keystone of our technical portfolio. This is a place where on this metaphorical landscape and also in virtual collaborations that a lot of people gather around to collaborate on accessing, producing, and leveraging water data sets. This capability that we have around the HydroShare data infrastructure operations helps us to sustain and evolve HydroShare. So keep it moving, keep it in advance of the needs that emerge from the community, so that we can ensure we've got long-term preservation and access to data and that the data themselves are made fair. So findable, accessible, interoperable, and reusable data. We've got great news to share. In this year, 2025 has been the culmination of a multi-year effort to significantly modernize the HydroShare codebase and software systems and also migrate it completely to the commercial cloud. So we're really proud of hitting this milestone, and it unlocks a lot of excellent possibilities for the future, including much stronger support for scalability as data sets grow and become more complex, and also a lot more flexibility in how the system moves and adapts. And then we've also, the second bullet point here, had a goal within the organization to broaden the user base that we have for HydroShare and welcome new publishing authors to use the system. And we're really happy to share that even though 2025 is not over yet, we've surpassed our internal goal and have welcomed by the count of a few weeks ago, 52 new to HydroShare publishing authors in 2025. So those are individuals who've never before used the system to publish and preserve their data sets and now have. So super pleased to see that continued widening of reach. There's more on this from our software engineering team. You can hear about it in one of the breakout sessions at 3 o'clock and then also at the 3:45 session. So keep an eye out for that one. Moving on to another of these core capabilities. So this is training delivery and convening the community. We provide hands-on and virtual training and get the community together to launch these new collaborative water science initiatives. In this space, we've had some great successes in 2025 as well, including continuing operating and expanding the quasi-virtual university program. We've had 9 modules led by community members and had over 70 enrolled students in 2025. So great to see CVU continue operations and expanding into new modules this year. And we also are celebrating CUAHSI's leadership in the 10th anniversary of the Water Prediction Summer Institute program. So that's a program that we've been running in partnership with the University of Alabama and under sponsorship and leadership from NOAA, has had incredible outcomes that have improved flood prediction for the nation as well as risk understanding and communication. Great to be part of that and be celebrating the 10th anniversary cohort this year with an excellent program and outcomes. We've got 2 sessions that are connected to these topics, one at 3 o'clock that is focused on both the convening presence and also the training needs. And then separately at 3:45, you can connect with Julia to hear specifically about future instances of the Summer Institute and what you could do to be part of it or learn more about how that system or how that program runs. Next up is our data and cyber infrastructure innovation capability. So this one aims to advance cyber infrastructure and apply data science principles for transformative water science applications. We've got a number of staff that participate in this, and we've seen research advances that find their way into operational systems like HydroShare, including the way that external data storage in the form of cloud buckets or otherwise is able to generically mount to HydroShare and thereby expand a ton of functionality that HydroShare offers by default, allowing other individuals to kind of bring their own storage or expand it in ways that really open up new research possibilities that can scale with a lot of emerging modeling and other analysis that is generating lots of high volume data sets. And you can connect with Tony at 3:45, who's leading a session that is focused on connecting in particular on research projects that can leverage these capabilities for future collaboration or partnerships. And next up, I want to zoom in and put focus on our next breakout session that's going to come in about 15 minutes from now, where we've got a lot of staff that are participating in this Zoom call, and we're going to bounce everybody out into these breakout sessions where you'll be able to get a better understanding of who is behind the scenes at CUAHSI or who is responsible for some of the programs that you're interested in. Here's a quick view of the employees right now at CUAHSI, names and roles. Not asking you to memorize this, but hopefully to kind of get inspired by the many faces and individuals that are helping deliver this work out to the community, and many of which that will be part of these future sessions that you can be part of. And lastly, before we move on, I wanted to open up for a few minutes of question and answer or continued discussion, clarification of anything that I presented here, or even some questions about how the rest of this meeting may work out. So I've got some thoughts for what some questions may be out there as just a way of getting things going. And I'll let you dwell on this for a couple more seconds before I stop sharing my screen, and then we'll pop back up on video and see if there are questions from the group here that we will work through before the Connect with CUAHSI breakout that will happen shortly.